For lesson 8.4, you'll be solving more two-step equations and actually three-step equations. Remember, the key here is to show those steps because we will get into multi-step equations and it's going to be a lot easier if you're in the habit of showing work. So we're going to be solving the equations in the form of P times the quantity x plus q equals r and P times the quantity, again, x plus q equals r, but we'll be translating verbal problems into equations and then solving them. So these would actually be something I call three-step equations, even though the title of this section is two-step equations. So when we have parentheses involved in equations, we need to distribute. Just like we learned from last chapter in chapter 7, if there's parentheses, we need to distribute whatever's on the outside to what's on the inside. So in this case, I'm just going to rewrite it as 22 equals negative 2y plus 6. Again, this is where you're going to make your errors. You're going to forget that negative times a negative is a positive, and you're going to fail to show that step. So make sure that you pay attention to those negatives. Now we have a two-step equation. So this is the first step, distribute. The second step will be to isolate the variables by adding or subtracting first. So 22 minus 6 is 16 equals negative 2y. And we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8 equals y. I don't care if you have y equals negative 8. Either way is fine. For 1b, we're going to have to distribute the 3.2. So we have 3.2x plus whatever 3.2 times 3.7 is. Let me do that really quick. 3.2 times 3.7, 11.84. So we'll write that down right here. 11.84 equals 4.8. All right, we want to isolate that variable x. So let's get rid of the 11.84 by subtracting it. Okay, 11.84, and that's going to be really hard to do the way it's lined up. So I am going to go off to the side here and put 11.84 minus 4.8, and I should get 6.04. So we have 3.2x equals 6.04. Divide by 3.2, 3.2 divided by 3.2. I should get x equals, let me see here, negative 2.2. Negative 2.2. Where did I miss my negative? Oh, it's right here. When I subtracted 11.84, I had more negatives there, so it's negative 6.04 divided by 3.2, negative 2.2. All right, moving on to page 348. At the top of the page, we're translating a story problem into an equation. Okay, so what we have here is 5 bottles of orange juice, and then she has a coupon for 65 cents off the regular price of each bottle of juice. And then after using the coupons, the total cost is $6.20. What's the regular price of a bottle of orange juice? So that's our x or our j or whatever variable you want to use. So we have a bottle of orange juices that we don't know how many we bought, but we do know she bought 5. We just don't know the cost. So we're going to take 5 times x, okay, and we're going to actually take that x value, the price of the bottle, minus 65 cents, okay, and then we're going to multiply that by 5 to get $6.20. Now you might be thinking, couldn't I write that a different way? Absolutely. I was just trying to model it the way that the objective stated, which was P times the quantity Q minus R, or whatever it was, where you had the distributive property in practice there. So it could be a different way, but what we have here is essentially 5x, take away 5 times 65 cents, so 5 times 0.65 is $3.25. Let me write that down here. $3.25 equals $6.20. And I'm going to add $3.25 to both sides, $3.25, and get 5x equals $9.45. And so divide by 5 on both sides, and we get x is equal to $1 and let's see, 44 would be 8, $1.89. Well, let's check that. Let's turn it on. Yep, $1.89. Okay. All right, let's go down to the bottom of page 348 for example 3. Again, we're using the distributive property for our first step, and in this case 3a, 5 times g is 5g, 5 times negative 3 is minus 15, that equals 11. Add 15 to both sides, and we get 5g equals 26. Don't let this scare you if it doesn't come out to a whole number. When you divide by 5, it's perfectly fine in algebra to leave your answer as an improper fraction. So we could do 26 over 5, or if you wanted to change that to 5 1/5, if you wanted to go a step further and do 5.2, that's fine, but it's perfectly acceptable to leave it like this. Okay. On 3b, we're going to distribute the 9 to negative 3 to get negative 27, plus 9x equals negative 2, plus 29, plus 27, plus 27, 9x equals 25, divide by 9, x equals 25 over 9. Again, that's perfectly acceptable to leave it like that, but if you wanted to change it to 2 and 7/9, that's also fine. We just turn on the answers real quick to make sure, and we have correct answers. Okay, on page 348, that was the last of the got it problems. Just remember when you're practicing these problems, yes, the title is two-step equations, but when you have that distributive property with the parentheses there, it really turns into a three-step equation. So good luck on that. Remember your other resources that you have, your video tutors, and then, of course, you can always email for further explanation if you get stuck.